Hello and welcome back to Wireman's Whimsy. Today we are going to make this fall card using soft seedlings. So I've used the large leaf stamp and the Thinking of You stamp. I've also added some brushed metallic adhesive backed gems. So they're right there. Now, when I first did this card, I thought, this is a bit plain. Very simple, very effective. So this is what it would have looked like kind of before I stepped it up a bit. So both cards equally nice. I just wanted to jazz it up a bit. So this is what I've done, and I'll show you how I accomplished this. The dies I used are 2 of the deckled rectangle dies and 1 of the stylish shapes dies. So I've got most of the pieces cut out because I wanted just to show you how I created this piece here. You don't need an extra piece of paper. I did this as a one-sheet wonder. And I practiced on this one. So I did a full 8.5 by 11 piece with the leaves all over it. And one of the things that I did, I've got 2 colors here because Cajun Craze was my main color. And then I took a sponge dauber and I went around the edge of the leaves and the center of the seedlings with the cherry cobbler. And on here you can see the difference. This one here is just Cajun Craze. This one is Cajun Craze with the cherry cobbler on the edges. So you can see this. The stamp itself does have that little bit of a darkening. It's one of the distinctive type stamps where it's got shading built right into the stamp, but I just accented a little bit with the cherry cobbler on the end. You could do the same thing with something like old olive with some mossy meadow on the edge as well. But so to do this, I need a standard card base. I need a what size did I do this? 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. So again, it's a narrow margin mat, and this is our standard 5 1/4 by 4 that will go over top of it. I used the stylish shapes to cut out the Thinking of You, and then I just laid it on a piece of Cajun Craze that I had a scrap and trimmed it with my paper trimmer, and then manually cut the banner points at the end. So in order to do this, I need my 2 deckled rectangle dies. The larger one is for the piece of Cajun Craze that I've already cut. The smaller one, I'm going to cut the center out of the card front itself. So I'm just going to lay this down, make sure it's centered, and then sandwich it up. And then I'm going to run it through the machine. Now this is the smaller of the 2 dies, so that the larger of the 2 dies, the mat, will cover up the opening in the card. And that way you don't have to cut a whole new piece to make this card happen. And what you end up with also is an extra piece that you could, if you made a series of these cards, you could have a couple of them on the front just like that, make yourself another card. So there's always a use for the pieces we cut out. So what I can do is I can go ahead and I can mount this all now. That's good, isn't it? Okay, so I am just going to unstick myself there, grab another, because we always have another one ready to go. And we're just going to lay this down, remembering that this is a narrow margin card. Okay. And then we can lay this directly down. This is flat mounted here. So I'm just going to put adhesive all the way around it. And again, remembering the narrow margin on this one. It's just going to drop that down like that. Okay, so that is our card so far. I am going to, actually, sorry, I lied. We don't have an extra piece to use on another card because I need to put it on the front of this one. So for all of you who are scratching your heads going, what is she doing? I don't know. So I'm just going to mat this up like this. Then this will be dimensionalized onto the card front, like so. And we'll just peel those off. And like that. Okay. And we are going to put this on this way, I think. Just kind of line it up, center it up, drop it down. So then what we have is that centerpiece matted out. I'm also going to put dimensionals on the back of the greeting so that we can dimensionalize that. And then I need to add the brushed metallic adhesive backed dots. Sorry, I called them gems earlier, but they're dots. So just line this up in the middle so the banner flags are equal distance over the edge, and just drop it down. There we go. I got to this point and I thought it looks quite nice, but I added the bling because I thought it needed a little something. So wherever you think there's a good spot that needs a bit of bling, just like that. And then I'm going to add a bit up there because I've got a bit of white space there. So that is, say, a fall card, good for masculine or feminine friends and family. You could also change this to happy birthday or thank you as well. So thank you so much for watching, and let's create together again soon.